Hello, good people of YouTube, Mountbatten here. Before we get into today's video, I just want to announce that I have set up a Patreon. So if you guys wish to support the channel, this is now the best way to do so. I have several tiers for you guys to choose. Obviously, if you are not in a financial situation to where you have, enough money to actually do this, do not worry about it at all. This is just there for those of you guys that want to help the channel and help out with all of these ship reviews and such. Like I mentioned in yesterday's video, I'm not a community contributor. I'm not interested in the program since they put on all the new restrictions and such. So if you do want to help me out and help out the channel, please check out the link below. Several very affordable tiers to choose from, and some that are, if you really want to go that extra mile, they're there for you if you really want to do that option. Although there's one that I don't expect many people will choose, and very obviously why not, but if you do that, I will make sure to make your wishes come true as far as ship reviews or maybe museum ships in real life. Anyway guys, again, if you want to help out the channel, make sure to check out the Patreon link. The link is in the description down below. Alright, on to the topic at hand. So, clan battles this season. How's it going so far? The changes that Wargaming has made, are they for the better or for the worst? We're going to talk about that today. So, this is only the, second or third week of clan battles by the time this video goes up. And there were several changes made to this season that I thought a lot were for the better, and then some that haven't, gone over so well. So the major changes for this season is that instead of being forced to choose between an aircraft carrier or a battleship, clans can now choose between two battleships or a battleship and an aircraft carrier. And that was something that I mentioned in the prior clan battles video for season, 10? The tier 6 season, that if they did allow a battleship to be taken in addition to a CV, it would give the team a bit more tankiness, because again, when you take out that battleship and you throw a carrier in the mix, carriers can just tear through most cruisers. Most of these super cruisers can easily be torn apart by a carrier. You really need the tankiness of a battleship along with its health pool in there to successfully tank against an aircraft carrier, especially, again, when taking into consideration that CVs were balanced for 12v12, not 7v7. So when you've got that much less AA and that many less ships to worry about, you can really focus down these cruisers. So they did that. I think that is most definitely a very good choice, and teams can even take two battleships and face off against one carrier and one battleship, which again, that's a lot of tanking now at this point in a 7v7 game mode. They also added in cyclones that reduced the spotting of planes down to 8 kilometers, while everyone else's spotting gets reduced to 14 kilometers, to reel in the spotting utility of CVs, because that was a major point of contention for players in Season 9, that CVs, again, pretty much allowed immediate spotting and continuous spotting throughout the match. Again, in a 7v7 game mode, this is amplified much more than in a 12v12 game mode, so they did add that in. Now, these changes, how have those two changes right there gone? Well, honestly, the Cyclone, out of the matches that we played so far, we have played 30 to 40 games so far, and the only time that we've had Cyclones, at least when I've played, which is most of the clan battle sessions, maybe 5 Cyclone matches? I don't know if we just aren't getting lucky with the matchmaking, or they aren't pushing the Cyclone matches as much as the normal matches, but I mean, I can barely remember Cyclone matches. Which, if you read the patch notes, it sounded like cyclones were going to be very prevalent in order to, again, balance out the CVs, but they really haven't been. I'm not sure if it's Wargaming's hesitant to let that just go, since this is the first time that this has happened with CVs and cyclones and clan battles, which is completely understandable, but again, just going off of the patch notes, it certainly sounded like they were going to be happening a lot more than this. But the cyclone matches, of the 4 that I remember us going through, 2 of them didn't even have CVs, and the other 2 there were CVs, and yeah, their spotting utility was limited. They could still spot out for 8 kilometers, which again, that's very useful even in a cyclone, because you do know where these ships are going. But yeah, it did, in my opinion, an effective job of reeling in that spotting, because at that point it was only 2D spotting on the mini-map and not 3D spotting for the entire team, which is something that's also been suggested about CVs in general, really not in just clan battles, that they should be limited to 2D spotting rather than 3D spotting. But I did think that helped out very much so there. And again, the 2 battleships, or the battleship and CV, I think that that has helped out a whole lot as well in terms of tankiness, because now that CV has to at least chew through that battleship before it can move on to the rest of the teams. Now, and again, if they choose 2 battleships too, then boy, that CV's got a lot to chew through before he can really start focusing on other cruisers, because if you don't take out those battleships, then well, they certainly have the tank and health advantage, and they're going to have it until those ships get taken out. Okay, now I think those 2 elements right there were very effective so far, at least so far. However, some changes to CVs in general before clan battles has kind of really stumped the effectiveness of these changes. And that is, of course, the bomb changes, where now the bombs on CVs are much, much, much more consistent. Wargaming changed in the 9.9 update the way bombs fall. They do not cross over anymore. If you guys played Graf Zeppelin was by far the easiest ship to notice this in. Very, very, very often, the bombs, when you would drop them, they would just make an absolute beeline to the other side of the reticle, say it was from the plane on the right. For whatever reason, it would make a beeline to the left side of the reticle, and the plane on the left, the bomb make a beeline to the right side on the reticle, so they would crisscross. And it was incredibly inaccurate in Graf Zeppelin. But now, since they've changed the way bombs fall, they fall pretty much straight down on their respective sides of the reticle. They still do move around a bit. But now, with these tier 10 CVs, good God, they are way, way, way more consistent now than before. Especially the Richthofen, because of the Richthofen's drop patterns, it's pretty much supposed to be in a straight line-ish. You have the bombers, more often than not, especially in clan battles with pretty darn good CV players, they're getting anywhere from at least 1 to 2 citadels in every single run with the MVR. Keep in mind too, this is citadel damage. This isn't like pin damage that can be repaired. This is citadel damage. So now, yeah, they gotta chew through a BB, but a Richthofen, a good Richthofen player, can make extremely short work of a BB, unless it's something like the Republic with its black hole French armor. But then Republic isn't really that good of a choice to take, because its French armor is also its French armor, because it eats really random pins, and there's some pins it won't eat. But overall, it's not the best tank, especially for clan battles, and with only 4 guns in the front or stern of the ship. But anyway, MVR is a bit of a pain now. But at least when you do group up, some of the other changes that have been made to CVs, it is a little bit easier now to chew through planes. And grouping up with enough AA ships, anywhere from 3 to 4 ships, depending upon what you're taking, our clans, as you're seeing right now, we're just running an absolutely just we hate planes comp with Puerto Rico's with full AA builds, and the same for the rest of the ships. You know, we're taking AA ships now for this express reason. But then, the Destroyer of Worlds, the FDR, was released. And oh my god, this thing is evil. It is evil incarnate. It is... I don't know how this got out. I guess it just was in development hell for so long, and they just said, screw it, release it. But oh my god, this thing is broken. And I know I'm going to get the, you're just a CV hater comments and this and that, but guys, like, good God. For clan battles, this thing is stupid. The health pool of a full flight of FDR bombers is more than a lot of tier 8 and above cruisers. And you're depending upon your AA gunners to deal with that, which means they're not going to. And this thing is incredibly stupid, and the amount of ordnance that each attack wave drops on ships, it's crazy. And again, with the bomb changes, it is incredibly easy for an FDR to do anywhere from 15 to, I think the max is like 25k damage in one run with its bombers. Now, it is at least only HE damage, and it's not Citadel damage, so it's just normal pin damage. So you can at least kind of deal with that. But when he can consistently do it over and over and over and over and over again, it's not going to help that much. And playing against FDR, it's like no amount of AA available to you in clan battles can really deal with this ship unless the FDR pilot just flies straight through the flak. Which, again, if they have FDR, if they have, what is it, 33,000 steel, so they are very, very good players, or at least very competent players to get that much steel. So yeah, and then again the rocket planes, the amount of rockets that this thing drops, the amount of torpedoes that this thing drops is insane. So the current situation in clan battles is whoever has an FDR, as long as they have a competent CV player, they are going to win. You just can't do anything to the fly to planes unless everyone's sitting on top of each other. And even then, it's just not enough because of the amount of health that the planes have. At that point, you're just hoping that the FDR driver just flies straight through the flat clouds at that point. And then you've got MVR, which it's like if you have an MVR and the enemy team has an MVR, it's who has the better MVR player at that point. If you're running a 2BB comp and you go up against an MVR, it's okay, can we stay together? Can we coordinate enough to keep the planes off of us, or at least make him pay for his attack runs? Or if you have an MVR or an FDR, it comes to that point, it's just like, can the MVR kill the FDR before the FDR wipes out all of your team? That's what our experience has been so far. And we're moving up into Storm here, hopefully this week. It's an interesting season. I'll give them that. The good thing is you don't run into too many FDRs because it's a still ship. So they've got that going for them this season. And the MVR versus MVR, you know, again, with the changes now to the planes and to the maneuverability and to the speed boost, the planes are much easier to deal with now than in past seasons. We're finding, at least, but again, we are running, again, full anti-air comms, and we are running into a lot of CV players now. We've tried to hold out for as long as we can without using a CV, but we're just at the point to where you kind of gotta use one. DDs, I mean, since MVR is so popular, DDs are a little bit more prevalent, so I guess they did kind of succeed in getting all classes represented in clan battles. Kind of, sort of, although, again, we aren't seeing a lot of DDs. Every now and then, like the match you're watching now, we'll run into a team with 2 or even 3 DDs. But again, we haven't really reached the higher rank meta just yet. We're still going up through Gale and Squall and all that. And I think we are almost to our qualification matches for Storm this season. But anyway, guys, that's how this season is going so far. It's interesting. We'll see how it goes. I think it's better than Season 9 by a little bit, by just a little bit, because you do actually have all classes in this season now. We are still seeing a lot of ship spams, like Petropavlovsk is absolutely everywhere because it's almost immune to getting Citadel by the MVR rocket planes, but you can still take a dump on it with the MVR dive bombers, and then again the FDR dive bombers and the FDR torpedo bombers as well, because the ship's so long. But yeah, we're seeing a lot of Petropavlovsk, a whole lot of MVR. FDRs, again, if they're a somewhat competent CV player, they will pretty much win unless they just absolutely throw the match themselves. But that's what this season is like so far. I'll make another one of these videos when we get toward the end of this season and see what happens there. You know, guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. What's been your clan battles experience so far? Let me know in the comments down below. Again, please check out the Patreon if you're interested in supporting the channel. And also, once again, if you're not in the financial situation to do it, do not worry about it at all. Watching the videos is, of course, a humongous help in and of itself. But anyway, guys, hope you're having a wonderful Wednesday. I hope to catch you guys in the next one.